you say it's all in my head, and the things I think just don't make sense.
One of the most often listed contenders for the Caldecott book this year is a book called A Sick Day for Amos McGee. And when I had read all the previews of it and the reviews of it, I thought it's going to be a little too schmaltzy for me. It's going to be too, oh shucks, isn't this an adorable book? But it's really pretty amazing. The artist uses a combination of wood prints and drawings, which makes for a really pretty, incredible artwork. The story, I honestly picked this up because I was, in fact, out sick on Friday. So this book is wonderful. I don't want to say any more about it because I want you to read it for yourself, but I'm excited to have this as an addition to our classroom. And as far as books that I checked out from the library, I have Leepike Ridge, which is one of our books for the Battle of the Books this year, and I almost wasn't going to read it. My due date is coming up where I have to return the book, and I was like, okay, I'll read it, I'll finish it, I'll get it out of the way. I wound up loving it. It made me think of Hatchet, which I think is, I haven't read any other reviews of this book, but I would assume that other reviewers would perhaps say the same. But it reminded me of Hatchet, but less inside of the main character's head. You know, when we studied Hatchet last year, we talked about mainly about character development and how Brian changes from the beginning to the end of the book. Well, this book, the main character, Tom, also changes quite a bit from the beginning to the end, but there's a lot more action than in Hatchet. I read a few more books towards the end of this week that I wanted to tell you about. One, I was able to get Pop, The Invention of Bubblegum by Megan McCarthy. I checked this out from the from the Seattle Public Library, and I will be sharing it as our read aloud this week in class, because we were talking about using reference material to help us understand more about Poppy, and I realized that we hadn't really dug into very many nonfiction books yet this year. So we're going to be reading Pop, The Invention of Bubblegum, and I'm excited because this one's also going to be on our Mock Caldecott list to see if you vote for this one for our Mock Caldecott Awards. I also got a book called Spork, which I had been waiting for from both the library, and I actually got a copy at the bookstore, so we will have one for our class library. I thought that this book was going to be a lot cheesier than it actually was. It's about a spork who can't fit in because he's not a knife and he's not a fork. He's a combination of the two. But it didn't actually end the way that I thought it would, and we're also going to be using this book for a prediction lesson later this week. Last book that I finished is called The Magic Half. It's by Annie Barrows, who's the author of Ivy and Bean. And this book is one of our Battle of the Books books this year. It's about a girl named Miri who winds up getting in touch with a girl from 1935, Molly. And she winds up trying to help Molly out of a sticky situation. You know how much I love the Great Depression and any books that take place during that period, so this book kind of already had an advantage in that case. But so that's what I've been reading this week. Please leave a note in the comments about what you've been enjoying. Thanks so much.